Oh man, so a big day here for Bitcoin and crypto. Bitcoin is up 8.5%. We're currently sitting at 40,900, trying to break through 41,000 in a change of events. What has happened to break Bitcoin past the 40,000 mark after being as low as 37,000 and even as low as 36,000 just days ago? What has happened? What's changing the narrative? We're going to cover that and more. We're going to look at the macroeconomics. We're going to look at the key levels in the Bitcoin chart, and I'm going to share my opinion on where I think we're heading this week. So make sure you hit up the like button. Make sure you're subscribing. Don't forget, these videos I brought to you by NordVPN, so please support them by clicking the link in the description. Coupon code OHMEN will get you 70% off of a 2-year plan to make sure you're staying safe and private in crypto. Really important that you set up a VPN. I personally have been using NordVPN in all my time in crypto, well before they were supporting this channel. So do consider getting yourself set up. They offer a money-back guarantee as well. So check them out. Links in the description. Right, what are we seeing here in the charts? Because interestingly, what we have seen is that Bitcoin was going pretty sideways since the 24th of Feb. Okay, so for the last 4 days or so, we were entering this channel. And as you can see, we fell below the channel. We fell as low as 37, and then we tried to run up to 38. And that's where we were today before a big move to the upside allowed us to run as high just an hour or so ago, past 41,300. We're now sitting at 40,800 at the time of recording this video. But what caused it? What happened and how did this run? Well, a few things. And the first one being this: Bitcoin jumps after Treasury imposes new sanctions against Russian central bank. So what happened was the US Treasury imposed new sanctions. They said it would effectively prohibit Americans from doing business with Russian central banks and freezes assets within the US. This move highlights the role that crypto can have in a military conflict. And this is what we've been saying for the last few days, guys. We have seen very interesting use cases over just the last few weeks of how powerful crypto as an ideology, as a solution for humanity is, not just for third world countries, because the narrative was always, oh, that crypto is just a hedge against inflation, and then it's only going to be used heavily transactionally in high inflation in countries where the currency is being devalued, like Venezuela or El Salvador or these types of countries. No, we're seeing first world superpowers and powerful countries opting to use Bitcoin for various different issues. This one, for example, we're seeing Russia really flock right now to crypto amidst this news, right? Ruble-denominated Bitcoin volume surges to a 9-month high. People are understanding their ruble in Russia is getting devalued because of what's going on, and they're moving across to Bitcoin. Not just because of that, but also to make remittances easier, right? If they get kicked off of Swift network, if assets are getting frozen, how do you think these oligarchs are going to move their money around? We already saw Roman Abramovich, the owner of Chelsea Football Club, a big deal here in the UK, moved ownership of the club to a charitable foundation just to make sure it doesn't get frozen. So all of these high net worth individuals, even normal individuals in Russia who have got caught up in this tragedy, are now opting to move to crypto to make sure they're secure. On the other hand, in Ukraine, similarly, there's been a bank run in Ukraine and loads of people are running to ATMs, withdrawing money in a panic, as you'd expect, and I believe $1 trillion have been withdrawn from the Ukrainian banking system, okay? That's not going to help the economy, and also it's difficult for the individuals. Many are going to ATMs, queuing for hours, unable to take out cash. Again, Bitcoin is the solution, right? If you had a Bitcoin, if you had a wallet set up and a crisis hit, you just need to up and leave. You got access to your wallets, you got your private keys. As long as you got an internet connection, you've got your finances, you can take care of your family. Crypto is proving itself yet again as an answer. Do I need to remind us of how it's acting here? Canada-based purpose Bitcoin ETF holdings at an all-time high. Why, you ask? Well, we saw what Trudeau did with the freedom protest. We saw what he did with the truckers. We saw how he freezed assets and bank accounts and tried to whitelist crypto addresses. And crypto showed how strong it was with those Bitcoins moving, and they drained the wallets, and it shows that it's hard to crack down on crypto. It's decentralized and it's immutable, and that is the quality that we fell in love with when entering crypto. Further evidence here, guys. Ukraine. Stand with the people of Ukraine, now accepting cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDT. Did we ever think a day would come like this, where we're seeing major governments accepting donations through crypto? Okay, huge. This is huge. And I mean, if you go back years ago, these kind of donations were done through maybe UNICEF or companies like this, and governments might appeal directly on television with some sort of bank account details. Now they're doing it through crypto. Why? Because this is harder to hack, this is harder for Russia to intercept, and it's the right way to go, right? It's the quickest quickest, easiest, and smoothest way for people to donate. Now, as an interesting side note, Gavin Wood, founder of Polkadot, tweeted as a response, if you post a dot address, I'll personally contribute $5 million. And I spent 5 minutes in the comments reading how people were absolutely lambasting him about how he's just using this as a shameless marketing plug. And it's interesting. I don't know where I sit on the fence of this one. It could be a bit of a marketing ploy. At the same time, obviously, we know if he was to convert DOT into ETH or Bitcoin and send it across, that would be a taxable event. And obviously, that would mean he'll be able to give less in a donation. I mean, my view on it in terms of charitable work is great. He's done it. And sometimes I think you do need leaders and important people to publicly donate because it helps encourage others. But at other times, I think sometimes it's better to give with the right hand with the left hand knowing. So yeah, not too sure where I stand on that. Is it a marketing ploy or is it a gesture of goodwill? Either way, it's a donation. Hopefully it goes through with that either way. And it's goodness. Right, fear and greed index. Fear and greed index sitting at 20. Okay, a little bit more fear has creeped in. We're now officially at extreme fear. Yesterday we were at 26. That was just fear. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of a knockdown. Maybe when we refresh this tomorrow, that will knock back up, given the rally we're seeing in the markets today. Now, if we head over to the major indices, what we will be able to see is that we're seeing an interim rally. I mean, initially the US markets opened very red, as expected in my video yesterday. You know, given that the talks are struggling between Russia and Ukraine. We also heard news of Putin putting his deterrence on high alert, which, you know, is the threat of nuclear almost. So we saw that we headed red, and we're still red here on the US markets. If we take a quick look here, Dow Jones down 1%, 1% for the S&P, and 0.5 here for the Nasdaq. And in essence, we fell down. We had a bit of a rally up before I recorded this video, and now it's just kind of evenish here in the markets. Okay, so we'll continue to monitor this to see how the market reacts. But interestingly, it seems like Bitcoin stretching its legs more than the indices, which is good. Okay, so we know that Bitcoin is correlated to the indices in this moment, and we've seen that play out over the last few weeks and months. But obviously, given the news that we saw that the new sanctions on Russian banks, the central bank, that's obviously a pro for Bitcoin and not necessarily the wider market. So ultimately, look, it's a good move. We've cleared through 40,000. The important level next is 41,000. If I zoom out slightly here, in fact, let's go to the 4 hourly, be a little bit clearer. Let's compact that out a bit. You can see that this nice rally here, this big, powerful 4 hourly candle, brings us to the technical target at the top of our wedge, which is fantastic. Okay, from a technical perspective, that ended up playing out, albeit with a bit of sideways movement and a bit of a retest before heading back up. Next levels, you can see we had a bit of a gap down before we entered this broadening megaphone pattern. Okay, so we're looking at our next level after 41,659 as being 43,000, and then we've got 43,500 and then 44.5. So those are the key levels we need to get to. You can see there's a lot of build up here. This was initially where we got rejected once the CPI data, once that data came through, and then also the Ukraine tensions. This is where we started to plummet, and these are the levels we want us to start working our way back towards. It's going to be an important level here, all the way up to about 45,000. That's going to be the moment of truth. We can clear 45,000, which was our initial rejection point here, 45,500, this yellow line. That's going to set us up for a good move to the upside. If we switch to the daily chart, we'll be able to see here on Bitcoin that we're getting a nice retest, okay? You can see this big white pattern forming here. This move has been a nice retest, a nice bounce. And if we can continue this and get beyond the rejection point, which I just showed you, that will be creating our higher high, and that can then send us to start working our way to the upside, namely past 52, which is where my cursor is now, and then into this box between 57 and 61, which we'll discuss more in detail once we get closer to it. So a lot of work still to do for Bitcoin, but it's a step in the right direction. Naturally, you guys know where I stand. I maintain my position that we're going to continue to be in a false start, volatile market until we see some green shoots of peace and recovery and diplomacy. If we can see that, and we can start to see that things are de-escalating as opposed to on the up, which is where it is right now, then I think the market will come down. Until then, assume these are little false starts, okay, guys? When you see the pullbacks, try to nibble in and improve your positions, not financial advice. But on these rallies, don't be going all in assuming this is going to run to 50,000 now, okay? This is why it's really important not to time the market, okay? We can get plenty of false starts is what I am warning here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you appreciate this type of content, make sure you're hitting that like button and subscribing. Don't forget to support this channel by checking out NordVPN, who've been kind enough to offer all you guys 70% off of a 2-year plan. Absolute no-brainer. Get yourself set up on a VPN. It's the least you can do. If you're trading crypto and you don't have a VPN, it's like leaving the front door open, right? It's the basics in security. So you cannot have any complaints if your security or privacy is compromised. What I'm going to do at the end of this video, I'm going to link up 2 important videos for you to watch in terms of how we've been investing wrong in crypto all this time. Make sure you go watch that video. It's really important that we maintain our psychology in times like this. Yes, we can look at the chart patterns. Yes, we can watch the news, which fine, we'll do so to an extent, but it's important to master our psychology, particularly in crypto winters or down times. That's when I spend a lot of time understanding my psychology and what my brain wants me to do versus what my heart wants me to do, and how I decouple those two. So watch those videos. Really important that you spend some time watching them. If you watch them already, watch them again. I constantly go through these processes, reminding myself of psychology, because it's something you have to stay on top of. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Smash the likes, and I'll see you in the next one.